Hello, welcome to Alan's e-bikes, and today is a very exciting day. For those regular viewers, you'll recognise the brand that I'm standing in front of. You might recognise the man I'm standing in front of, I don't know, but we have been selling big game bikes here at Alan's e-bikes for a long time, and today we are joined by Gareth, who is, I asked him actually what his job title was and who you are. What was it you said, Gareth?
Chief Bike Guy.
Chief Bike Guy. So we are joined by the Chief Bike Guy, himself today, Gareth from Big Game Bikes. Thanks very much for coming to see us today. Ooh, strong hand grip.
Thank you for having me, Dave.
So you know we're a big fan of your bikes because you said it yourself this morning that we sell lots of your bikes, which is obviously nice to hear because we do. We sell a lot of your bikes and we love them. I personally love them, and I know a lot of our customers love them. So look, you're here. Talk to the viewers out there about a big game bike. Where did it all start for you?
Perfect. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Loving being in your shop. Talking about our bikes, I got into e-bikes about 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was commuting to work and I was on a regular push bike, mm-hmm. and it was horrible.
Okay, yeah.
So I went online and I bought a kit and I retrofitted my Halfords Carrera e-bike, mm-hmm. and it was a disaster. Mm-hmm. But it gave me an incredibly intimate understanding and knowledge of exactly how e-bikes work. And I then developed all of that knowledge and all of that skill into creating an e-bike that was really comfortable, fantastic range, had all the features that I wanted. So I like to think of my bikes as my selfish bikes. If I were to go into a shop and I were to pick a bike that was going to meet all of my needs, it would be, for example, our Big Game Bikes Impala. I wanted an e-bike that you can ride for 30, 40 miles without getting uncomfortable. I wanted a nice upright riding position so that I can look around and enjoy my ride. I wanted a rack so I could put some stuff on the back. I wanted a fully featured handlebar. Let's get a nice color display. I want to charge my phone while I'm riding. I want front and rear lights with brake lights and turn signals to make it safer when I'm riding, and critically, a nice comfortable seat, because we've all had those rides where you finish and you think, oh, I need a rest from having my ride. And that's not what you get when you ride our bikes. And that's how Big Game Bikes came to life.
Yeah, brilliant. So tell us a little bit about the manufacturing. How does it go into, so do you sort of approach the factory and say, this is what I want, like you just said, tick, 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 I want it to have this, and this, and they go, yeah, we can make that happen. Do they then send you drawings, or how does the whole process work?
Good question, Dave, good question. Our bikes are all manufactured in China, mm-hmm. as is most things, and I remember seeing on the back of an iPhone, designed in California, made in China. So I designed these bikes from top to bottom, front to back. I knew what I wanted. I had an idea of how it was going to look. I got in touch with a really good friend of mine who lives in China. He got me in touch with some suppliers. There was a lot of toing and froing. There were a lot of prototypes and what have you. And then eventually we ended up with the range of the bikes that we've got. The things that were really important to me were safety. I needed to know that the quality of the components on my bikes were really good. I needed to know that the batteries were safe, and I needed to know that the bicycles were designed by bicycle companies. And believe it or not, there's that song, 5,000 Bikes in Beijing.
Oh yeah.
Bikes are huge in China.
Yeah.
If you think a lot of people in Holland ride bikes, have a look in China. And critically, there are cities in China where they specialize in bicycles, and these guys know their stuff. So don't think for a moment, oh, it's made in China. I'm going to need to be cautious of that. Actually take some reassurance in the fact that, oh, actually it's made in China in a bike city where millions of people are using the bikes. So that's where they're born, but they were designed in the UK. They were designed to be used in the UK. They were designed with the UK in mind. It's wet here, it's cold here, and there's a load of features on the bikes that take all of that into consideration. And we've done our best to try and incorporate that into our bikes.
Well, I mean, you had me sold, obviously. I don't know if you recall how I found you, because here at Alan's e-bikes, we've been very sort of very much flying the flag for the fat tyre bike ever since we opened back in 2021. And I reached out to you, and I don't know if you remember, I sort of found your bikes online and thought, these look really good. And then I contacted you. We had, I think it was the Impala that came to us, and definitely was actually. Yes. It was Impala that came to us first because we needed a folding fat tyre bike, which was a criteria that a lot of people wanted. And I rode it for the first time, and I was just blown away. Well, the saddle just on its own, I mean, this saddle is just so beautiful to sit on, and then added in with the suspension here, just made for such a comfortable ride. I loved it. And the fact that you can fold it up and then put it in the car. I always call, and I hope you don't, I might offend him here, I always say that this is not a folding bike. This is a bike that folds.
Agreed.
Do you agree with that? Good.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay, because it's not. I mean, I sell folding bikes that are light and you fold them up and pop them on the train and bus and stuff like that. This ain't it. No. Definitely not. No. But it does serve a purpose that, you know, that if someone wanted to take this bike and put it in the back of the car and take it to Brighton for the day and go on the promenade and stuff like that, it's just ideal for it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It does so much. And it's a fabulous bike. We absolutely love it. So you've got 3 bikes in the range that then turn into 6, or is it 5? Just remind me.
There's 10.
Oh my God! Okay, I'm missing bikes.
There's 10.
Right.
There's 10
okay.
in total.
Right.
And going back to what Dave was saying a moment ago, he's absolutely right. The folding functionality on this bicycle is for ease of transport. If you're going on holiday and you want to put the bike in the back of the car, when you get to your campsite, you've now got some super comfortable long-range bikes to really go and explore your surroundings with. Don't fold this and try and carry it up the stairs. You know, you can if you want to. But yeah, that's where that all sort of came from. In terms of all the bikes that we have, we've got our 3 core bikes, which are our Warthog, our Impala, and then our big 26-inch Buffalo.
Got one over there.
We do.
Yeah.
Buffalo is amazing for off-road adventures. It really dominates the trail. You know, you're not going to ride the Buffalo on a Red Bull competition track.
Right, okay.
But we're not Red Bull competition guys. And most of you aren't going to be doing that. You're going to look out the window and see that it's a beautiful day. Let's get out, let's get into nature, and let's do it on our bike. Because I don't want to have to eat a whole load of energy bars and take a whole load of energy drinks. I want a pleasant ride on a Sunday when it's lovely and warm, or even on a cold winter's day, but at least it's nice and crisp, to get out and enjoy nature. The Impala's primary function for me was commuting to work. I needed a bike that had a fantastic range because I used to get the train a lot. And trains get cancelled, and trains break down, or the train is so full that you can't get on the train. So I needed to get from work to home on a single charge reliably every single day. And that's what the Impala did for me. The Warthog was born from the idea that my wife and I would sneak off to the pub and we'd have a pub lunch, and she had a regular push bike. But now with the Warthog, she can jump on the back of the bike with me. We can have a fantastic ride through the countryside, find a nice pub, have a lunch, and then come back. So it's great for carrying 2 people. My little boy sits on the front when we're doing the school run. An incredibly versatile bike. And I think that's what's important. If you're going to invest in an e-bike, one of the things you should take into consideration is how you can really utilize the bike and incorporate it into your life. If you can use it every day, I think it becomes a real asset. I don't have to worry about parking. I don't have to worry about traffic. It's just easier. In every way.
Yeah, well, we do. As I say, you know, I'm a big fan of the bikes, and they're great looking bikes. I'm sure you'll agree with this. They are lovely looking bikes. I know fat tyre bikes aren't for everybody, and there's always going to be the person going, "Oh God, they look like motorbikes." Yeah, they do look a little bit like motorbikes, but just to be clear, this bike here, we sell a 250 version of it and a 750 version of it, don't we? So basically, the law in the UK, I'm sure you know this if you're watching this channel, but a 250 watt is the max motor output that you're allowed in the UK for an e-bike, with a top speed of 15.5 miles an hour, no throttle, pedal assist only. And this bike right here can have that achievable, no problem at all. If they want to be a bit more adventurous and go off-road and only use it off-road, then they can get the 750 version and have a bit more power.
That's right. Just to clarify and to expand on what Dave has said there, if you buy, for example, one of our 750 watt e-bikes, it can exceed 15 miles an hour, and it also comes with a throttle. And if you've got access to some private land and you want to go on some adventures, then that's definitely the route to go. But it's worth bearing in mind that you cannot use that bicycle on the road.
Yeah.
Equally, if you buy one of our 250 watt e-bikes, it does not come with a throttle. The power and the speed are limited to conform to EAPC regulations. And taking that a step further, no, you can't switch it from on-road to off-road. And if you have a 750 watt e-bike, you cannot switch it to road mode. You need to think about how you're going to use your e-bike over the next 12 months, the next 2 years, and you need to pick a bicycle that is going to suit the use case.
I do think it's worth mentioning, because a 250 motor and a 250 motor on two different bikes can feel very different, because I've always found that the 250 motor on the Impala feels like it's a bit more punchier than, say, a 250 on one of my other bikes. It feels like it's got a little bit more, even though it hasn't, and it still goes at 15.5 miles an hour. Yeah. I just feel like it's got... Would you agree with me on that? Do you think it is a bit more punchy?
Yes.
I knew he'd say that.
Yes.
Because it's true. It's true.
And there's a good reason for that. All of our e-bikes run on a 48 volt system. A lot of e-bikes come on a 36 volt system. And the reason they do that is because they're cheaper. Now, the 48 volt system produces more torque, and torque is what we need to get up hills. Torque gives us more power.
Yeah.
And all of our e-bikes come with nice, torquey motors. I don't know who you are. Yeah. I don't know what you're going to do with my e-bike. Yeah. So I need to assume that you're going to want to get out and go on adventures, and you're not going to want to get to wherever you're going in a big barrel of sweat.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We want to enjoy our bikes, and with all of our bikes and a lot of the bikes that Dave sells here, you can achieve that. You can get out, you can have fun, get some fresh air, go for a bike ride with your kids, and you can enjoy yourself. The kids are absolutely knackered, and that's what we want. So obviously Dave's been stocking up, you've been stocking our bikes for quite a while now.
We have.
And you've got a lot of different bikes in your shop.
Yeah.
So your experience of different bikes is really quite good. What would you say people are attracted to with regards to our bikes, when there is obviously so much choice, not just in your shop, but just online and in general?
But also lots in my shop. There's lots of choice here. At any one time, we can have 100 bikes in here that are ready for people to try, which is great. We have a lot of people. I always say that Alan's e-bikes is a destination store. So people will travel easily 2 or 3 hours because they know they can come here and try. And all of our bikes, like yourselves, like your bikes, we have a test track around the back, and people will go and try them and go, oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
But honestly, I think the first thing that people see, especially if they haven't seen a fat tire bike before, because I've been to lots of bike shops, and I very rarely, if ever, I might even go as far to say, if ever, I've been into a bike shop and seen a fat tire range of bikes.
Okay.
I think the best I've ever seen is one, maybe. Wow. So we have a full range of fat tire bikes, yours being the most prominent, and people often go, oh, wow, what's this? You know, so sometimes people will come in here and they've never even considered this type of bike. Okay. But the main factor, I think, for anybody that goes on your range of bikes is comfort. I think the comfort that you get from the fat tire, from what people would call a balloon tire, is unsurpassable in any other bike that I would have in my showroom. Okay. Because when you're on, and stability, which also comes down to comfort really, but the stability and comfort of a fat tire bike, if you've never ridden one, we absolutely encourage you to come to the showroom and try them out, because it really is. I always say it's night and day. So if I have someone that wants to try an Impala, so occasionally I have someone that will come in and go, they've seen the Impala online, they've seen one of the videos, and they go, I would like to try an Impala, and I'd like to try X bike, whatever that bike is. And I will often say to them, no problem at all, just to let you know, it's going to be night and day. Yeah. Because it really is. There's the experience on riding the Impala, especially, I'm going to point to the Impala more so, just because I do find the seat very comfortable with the suspension on there and the fatter tyres. Because I think the cruiser style, which is what we would say of the Warthog is a very different riding position anyway. So this is a more traditional riding position. We can put the seat up to the height we want, but this is obviously non-adjustable.
Yeah.
Someone rides that versus any other normal bike, I would always say to them it's going to be night and day.
Yeah.
And it really is. They will often say, oh my gosh, a lot of people just go, wow, that is so different from a normal riding experience in a good way.
Yes.
Always you can't please all the people all the time. We know that rule. There's always going to be someone that's going to say it's too heavy.
Sure.
And there's no two ways about it. Yeah. This is not a lightweight bike.
No.
But no one's pretending it is. So as long as we get out of that. So that's
you're riding it, not carrying it.
Exactly. That's what I always say. You're not going to pick it up. You don't want to be picking it up. I'm just going to take my bike for a walk.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're quite right. So that is the only negative. So once you've worked out how to make it, 10 kilograms lighter, let me know on that one. And then we'll get all those customers come back. But I mean, that is, I would say, if you want to point to a negative, I can't think of anything else other than that someone would have an issue with it is just a heavy bike. But like you say, why do you care? You're going to ride it from point A to point B. Yeah. Don't pick it up in the middle, do you?
Yeah.
So that's it basically. So yeah, there's many customers that would come in and never even consider your bike. And then there's other people that will just look at it and go, wow, it looks fantastic. Aesthetically looking. I want to try that bike out. Especially, this is the Alpha Plus, isn't it?
Yes.
So this has the big chunky headlight and a few other little upgraded features. That's called double crown shocks, if I'm saying that correctly.
So it's a full air suspension.
Wow.
That's a 7.5-inch motorcycle headlight.
Yeah.
The idea was I took the Impala, and this is one of the 10 bikes. So the core is the Impala, the Warthog, and the Buffalo. And then what I did was I thought about each of the bikes, and I thought about all the different things I could upgrade on them. So on the Impala, we've got a 7.5-inch motorcycle headlight, a really good quality air front suspension. As you can see, it's taken a comfy bike and it's made it even more comfortable. It's got much more aggressive, much bigger brakes, so you can ride the bike a lot more aggressively. We've got nice color-coded brake calipers, gear cranks. It's an upgrade. It's everything I could think of in terms of upgrades. And I must say, I'm really happy to hear that a lot of the things that you're saying about our bikes and the general sentiment with regards to them, because we take this Impala, for example, is the 5th or 6th version. And although the overall look and design of the bicycle has remained static, people contact me and they say, oh, I've noticed this or I've noticed that. And we've genuinely taken that feedback on board. And I've noticed things when I'm riding, oh, this would be nice, or actually that would be nice. And we've incorporated those changes and upgrades into the bike. Little things like, oh, I don't like this, how the battery charges. So we've redesigned the charge mechanism to make that easier. We've made the cable longer so that you don't have to move the battery a bit closer.
Wow.
We've made the way that the battery goes on the bike. Just all those little niggles that you can't appreciate until you've been an owner. So why not leverage all of that information and make it better? So if you come into Alan's e-bikes and you test ride one of our Impalas, it will be one of the latest Impalas. And I think what you'll find is you'll end up riding a lot more than you think you will. People say to
Definitely
me,
true.
I'm only going for a short ride, and next thing is they're buying a second battery from me because they're doing 50 miles. Can you imagine going out to your shed right now, taking out your dusty bike and going for a 50-mile bike ride?
Wow.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, but because
when I was 18, I used to do that. Yeah, for fun.
But but what a fantastic way to spend a day. Put some pannier bags on the back, get some snacks, get some drinks, get out into the countryside, go and visit that castle that's 18 miles away that was a pain in the neck to get to by car or by train. Go down the canal path. You'll see things you didn't even know that were on your doorstep, and it becomes addictive. Wow. It really does. And then when the winter comes, you wear the right gear, put on a good bit of warm clothing, get on your bike. And again, you're going to see a totally different side of the countryside when you go out in the winter. And that's what I wanted. If you can't enjoy your bike all year round, you haven't got the right bike. And that's something that I realized when I was making these.
Wow, we turned into a travel program now. I liked it. Yeah, it's very good. Painting a lovely picture.
But it is. Because you need, we're talking about being healthy, and we're talking about getting out and about, and we're always talking about getting more exercise and so on and so forth. And riding a non-electric bicycle is a pain.
Yep.
Right? It's a pain. It's a
You
hassle.
don't need to convince me on that one. I know that now. I've got really bad knees from a misspent childhood of being really, really into skateboarding.
Okay.
And so my knees, as soon as I go on a manual bike, so we service normal bikes here, and every now and again I need to go and take one of them for a test ride after we've serviced it. And even on a little test ride, my knees like, oh my goodness me, they're really, really bad, which is kind of the reason why I got into the e-bike business in the first place, is because I used to really enjoy cycling but couldn't do it anymore. And this was always the answer, so you're absolutely right. It's game changing. I always say it, they're game changing e-bikes. They really, really are.
If you haven't had a go on an e-bike, you need to come into Alan's e-bikes. You need to talk to Dave.
Me.
You need to tell Dave what you hope to do with the bike. Dave can find a bike in his shop that I know, whether it's one of my bikes, which ideally it would be, but Dave will have a bike in here that is going to do what you want. And I can guarantee you with 100% certainty, once you leave with an e-bike, you will regret not having done it years ago.
It's very true. It's very true.
Okay.
And before you go, just because we're going to fly the Big Game Bikes flag here, there's something I want to point out, which is very, very important from the customer's point of view, is that the great thing about having Gareth, who is obviously based in the UK, yes, we go on about, they're made in China, and some people do take that negatively.
They do.
I hear it in here all the time.
Yep.
The great thing is that, okay, yes, they are made in China, but Gareth has all the parts, all the components, and anything that goes wrong, he has them all in here in the UK. So if I get a problem with any one of your bikes, I'm on the phone to him straight away. Oh, I need this. It's next day. It's with me. It's solved.
Absolutely.
And I think that's really, really important. I've always said that about all of our suppliers. That it's the backup and support that I get from you is so important. It means I can pass it on to the customer as well.
Absolutely.
And that is really important.
Absolutely.
Really important.
We keep a good selection of every single shipment of our e-bikes to one side. I can replace any nut, bolt, washer, bearing, pedal on any of our e-bikes in 24 hours notice.
Brilliant.
And that's really important. We look after our customers, we really do. And if a customer has a genuine issue or a problem, we will always look to help them, even if you're outside of your warranty. Get in touch,
Brilliant.
and if we can help you, we will.
Brilliant. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for coming to see us today. It's been a long time overdue, really, isn't it?
It has.
We're not exactly local, so it's great.
No.
So it's been absolutely great. Thank you once again for coming to see us.
Thank you.
Very strong hand grip. Anyway, lovely. Thank you very much. And we will see you on the next video. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.